I'm 81 years old, and the house has been quiet for a long time now. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, the kind that settles in your chest when you realize no one is going to call today, or tomorrow, or maybe ever again. I used to think silence meant rest. Now I know it means distance. I'm not telling this because I expect forgiveness. I'm telling it because I finally understand something that took me most of my life to see, and because I don't have much life left to misunderstand it again. Most mornings I sit at the same small table near the window. The light comes in just enough to warm the wood. I make my coffee the way I always have, 2 spoons of sugar. I don't even enjoy it anymore, but habits stick when people don't. I look at my phone sometimes, not often. It feels heavier than it should. There are names on it I don't scroll to anymore. My children's names are still there. They never left the screen. They just stopped being used. For a long time, I told myself they were busy, that life pulled people in different directions, that children grow up and away, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That explanation worked for years. It stopped working when I realized how much time had passed without a single real conversation. Not a holiday text, not a forwarded photo. A conversation. The kind where someone asks how you are and waits for the answer. That's when the silence started to feel earned. When I was younger, I never imagined this ending. I imagined being old, yes, slower, stiffer, but surrounded. I thought the work I did, the sacrifices I made would turn into something solid at the end, something warm. I didn't picture myself rehearsing conversations in my head that would never happen. In my 20s and 30s, I was busy. That's the word I used, and it felt honest. Busy building something, busy providing, busy trying to be the kind of man I thought I was supposed to be. I had a job that demanded attention even when I wasn't there. I brought it home with me, carried it into dinner, into weekends. I thought that was responsibility. I thought that was love translated into effort. When my children were small, I told myself there would be more time later, when they were older, when things settled down, when work eased up. I didn't see that life doesn't slow down on its own. It just moves forward without asking. I remember coming home tired and wanting quiet. The house was loud then. Toys on the floor, voices talking over each other, questions I didn't always answer. Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't think those moments were important enough to exhaust myself over. I thought presence was optional if the bills were paid. I missed things. Not the big ones at first. I was there for birthdays, graduations, photographs. I showed up for the moments that were scheduled. What I missed were the in-between moments, the ones you don't plan for, the ones that build trust quietly. I missed the after-school stories that didn't seem important, the feelings they didn't know how to name yet, the small disappointments that needed listening more than fixing. I told myself they'd forget those moments anyway. They didn't. As they got older, the distance didn't arrive all at once. It came gently. Calls became shorter, visits less frequent, conversations stayed on the surface. I noticed it, but I didn't stop it. I didn't ask why. I didn't want to hear an answer I didn't have time to address. I kept choosing later. I remember one night in particular. My daughter was trying to tell me something. I don't even remember what it was about now. I remember looking at the clock while she spoke. I remember nodding without really hearing. She noticed. Children always do. She stopped talking mid-sentence. I asked her to continue. She said it wasn't important. That moment felt small at the time. It wasn't. Over the years, I became someone they managed instead of someone they leaned on. Conversations turned careful, topics were chosen instead of shared. I wasn't unsafe, I was just not available. I thought respect would be enough. I thought being reliable was the same as being close. It isn't. The turning point didn't come with a fight. There was no explosion, no dramatic goodbye. It came quietly, the way most permanent things do. It was after my wife died. That changed everything, even though I didn't realize it at first. She had been the bridge, the one who softened my edges, the one who noticed what I missed. When she was gone, there was nothing buffering my distance anymore. The calls slowed further, visits became brief and polite, holidays were split, then skipped. I told myself grief made people withdraw. I gave everyone space. I gave them too much. One day I realized I couldn't remember the last time one of my children had called just to talk, not to check in, not to coordinate, just to talk. I felt something then that I hadn't felt before. Clarity. Not the kind that comforts you, the kind that sits heavy and doesn't move. I finally saw the pattern, the years of being half present, the way I prioritized being right over being kind, the way I listened to respond instead of understand. I wasn't cruel. That's the hardest part to accept. I wasn't abusive. I wasn't absent in the obvious ways. I was simply not there in the ways that mattered most. That's a harder thing to apologize for, because it doesn't come with a single moment you can point to and say, that was the mistake. It was 1,000 small ones. I tried eventually to fix it. I reached out more, asked questions I should have asked decades earlier. But by then, the roles had shifted. They had built lives without me at the center. They had learned not to need me. And people rarely go back to needing someone who taught them independence through neglect. Some things can't be repaired once time has passed through them. That's another lesson I learned late. You can understand something perfectly and still not be able to change it. There are days now when I replay conversations I never had, apologies I rehearsed too long, invitations I never extended because I thought they were implied. I used to believe love was understood without being spoken. Now I know silence teaches its own lessons. I don't blame my children. That took time. For a while I did, quietly. I told myself they were ungrateful, that they didn't understand the pressure I was under. Then I realized something painful. They understood it just fine. They just lived on the other side of it. They grew up feeling like an interruption, like something that needed to be efficient, like affection had to fit around responsibility. They didn't stop calling because they didn't care. They stopped calling because calling felt empty. If you're listening to this and you still hear your phone ring, don't assume it always will. If someone still tells you things that don't seem important, don't rush them. Those are the moments that disappear first. I wish I had known being busy isn't the same as being necessary, that providing isn't the same as connecting, that love doesn't survive on intention alone. I wish I had sat longer at the table, asked one more question, put the paper down more often. Not dramatically, just consistently. I don't expect redemption now. I'm not looking for reconciliation stories or endings that tie themselves neatly. This is where my life landed. Some days are quiet but manageable. Others feel heavier. I take them as they come. If this means something to you, maybe sit with it for a moment. Not to fix anything, just to notice. Notice who still reaches out. Notice who pauses when they speak to you. Notice where your attention goes when someone you love is talking. Time doesn't warn you when it's about to become memory. It just keeps moving. I don't have many years left. I know that. I've made peace with it as best I can. What I haven't made peace with is how easily love can erode without anyone meaning for it to. That's what I finally understand at 81. Not everything broken makes a sound when it breaks. And by the time you hear the silence, it's often already too late.